I was with my father one day, and he told me this story about something that happened when he was like 12 years old. And he said,
"This happened many years ago, when I was still a young kid in the village. I was innocent as a young village boy and knew little. I had an uncle, his name was Njogo. It started happening like this. Njogo would ask me to follow him to a market which is far from our village. We would drive to the market on a bicycle. When we get to the market, he would usually park the bicycle few meters away, usually at the entrance of the market, and he would ask me to wait there, while he enters the market alone. Sometimes, I would wait for hours before he would return. Suddenly, he would appear from nowhere with either a goat, or sometimes chicken. He would horribly tie it to the bicycle carrier, while he asked me to zoom off and drive without stopping. I would jump on the bicycle and zoom off, wondering why he was so much in a hurry. However, something always baffles me. I would jump on the bicycle and zoom off, drive about 50 meters away from the market, and I would meet my uncle Njogo by the roadside waiting for me, and surprisingly I would stop. This happened in many cases, and how he always got there before me, I cannot explain, neither did he explain to me. This repeatedly happened. Sometimes, we are coming home with a chicken or a goat, sometimes foodstuffs. Whether he buys them or steals them, I can't really explain. I neither told my father about it. I was not just bold enough to talk about it then, as a young boy. On one unfortunate incident, my father traveled to the Onitsha town with Njogo. My father got sick over there and was admitted. The white people were the doctors back in those days. So they asked my uncle Njogo, who was with my father on that trip, to go home and bring a relative of my father who would be helping my father in the hospital while he is being treated. Njogo came home and asked me to prepare. He took me to the city of Onitsha, where my father was being treated. The white doctors was angry with him, because he was told to bring someone elderly, not a young boy like me. Me and my uncle Njogo left for the park the next morning. I thought I was going home, not knowing what was waiting for me. That was the era when slave trade was still in vogue. When we got to the park at Onitsha, he asked me to sit down somewhere while he goes to buy a ticket. I sat down innocently waiting for my uncle. I noticed that some men from a distance were gazing at me. After a while, one of the men approached and asked me where I am from. I told him I'm from Njogo. He then spoke my language back to me. The man asked me what was my relationship with the man that brought me here. I told him he was my uncle. The man beckoned on the other man that was standing with him initially. They both spoke my language. The man told me that my uncle is a slave seller. We know him for that and we have accosted him many times to stop bringing our people here, the man said. They told me that my uncle have went to bargain with slave buyers and probably would sell me off. They asked me if I would know my way back home, if they put me on a truck that is heading back to Nsukka, and I said yes. The man removed the clothes he was wearing and gave it to me to wear as a disguise. They sneaked me out from that place and took me to where they put me on a truck. They paid the truck driver and told him about my situation. The truck driver was told never to drop me off or give me into anyone's care until I get to Nsukka town. After a while, the truck left for Nsukka. Just after a few minutes, a man was shouting from the outside, "Stop, stop, stop." The voice sounded familiar to me. That should be my uncle Njogo. How he knew I was at the back of that truck I never knew. He was waving at the truck driver to stop. The truck driver stopped, and my uncle jumped on the back of the truck. He asked me why I left without him. The driver of the truck and the people on the back of that truck chased him down from the truck. They were already aware of my situation. We got to Nsukka later that evening, and the truck driver gave me to another, a driver who takes passengers down to my own locality, Njogo. This was how I escaped being sold out as a slave that year. Later on, when my father returned from his sick bed, he was very angry with my uncle when I told him about my experience.